right now on the phone, Donald Trump. Hello, it's good to talk with you. And Beada Corum is joining us from Knoxville, Tennessee, and she has been so inspired by you that she is voting for the first time in her 92 years.
Well, she sounds so smart. If she were running for office, I would be voting for her too, Trish. She's amazing. She's so brilliant. You know, I've been listening now for the last couple of minutes, and everything she said is exactly true, and she would get it done. You know, the politicians, they don't get anything done, which is her problem. They talk, but they don't get it done, and it's a great honor, Beada, and I want to thank you very much. You know, you're all over the place. They're talking about you all over, and to be on Trish's show is a big deal, and I just want to thank you very much, Beada.
Well, I appreciate Donald Trump. I tell you what, I think you're the man for this country, and I hope and pray. I know you'll do what you said, because I've got confidence in you. And they are to get rid of Obama a long time ago, because he ain't never done nothing.
Well, that you have no complaints. You have many people out there that are agreeing. I mean, it's been a very bad period of time with his leadership. There's no question about it, Beada.
You know, Donald Trump, Beada is talking about something that we're seeing on a very national level. I mean, this is one of the reasons why you are getting so much support. People are so fed up with establishment. They're fed up with politicians. As you go into the debate tomorrow night, and Beada's going to be watching, I'm going to be watching, all of America's going to be watching. What is it that you will be doing that you think kind of continues this theme of making you different from the rest of the pack?
Well, I mean, in terms of the debate, it'll be interesting because, you know, these politicians, all they do is debate. They go from one debate to another. I've never done this before, but I still look forward to it, and we have the right message. And the message is make America great again, and I'll be espousing that, and hopefully that'll be good, and we'll see what all happens. But overall, we just want to strengthen our military. We want to take care of our vets. We want to get rid of Obamacare and replace it with something far better and far less costly for the people, because you can't even use it for the most part. It's so expensive. And, you know, the numbers are so bad on Obamacare that as you know, 2016, when it really kicks in, it's going to be catastrophic for the economy. So there are so many things we can do. But one of the things I think that Beada wants to do, and in listening to her, is we want to create a strong border. We want to have absolute strong border. I'm going to build a wall. People are going to come in legally, but they're not going to come in illegally. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the many things that we're going to do.
And Mexico's still going to pay for it?
And Mexico is going to pay for it. They take in many billions of dollars from us. And you know what? They're going to pay for it. And by the way, the cost of the wall is peanuts compared to the kind of money they're making. So they will pay for it. They'll be very happy. I'll have a great relationship with Mexico. You know, I have a great relationship with the Mexicans. The problem we have with Mexico is that their leaders are much sharper and much smarter than our leaders. So they make good deals. We have to get some of that back.
Let me just ask you, I mean, if it were me, I'll admit, I'd be pretty nervous about tomorrow night. I mean, you're going out there on a very big stage. It's a big platform. All of America's going to be watching. There are a lot of people out there that may be familiar with you in some capacity, but they haven't heard you talk about policy before. Are you nervous? How are you preparing?
Well, I'm not exactly thrilled. I mean, I can think of things I'd rather be doing, right, Beada? There are things I'd rather have dinner with Beada tomorrow night in New York City, if you want to know the truth, or in Cleveland would be good, too. But honestly, I have to do it. You know, we have to make America great again, and this is part of the process you have to go through. It's not something I long for. It's not something I look forward to, being exposed like that, you know. But hey, look, I went to the best schools. I was a very good student. I made a tremendous fortune, which I guess tells something. And you know, between The Apprentice and The Art of the Deal and all the books, I mean, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. But again, debating is not something. I guess my whole life is a debate when you get right down to it. But Trish, it's not something that, you know, I do professionally, and these guys do it professionally, but I think we'll do just fine.
You sound like you're managing expectations. You're setting the bar low, and, you know, we can all be surprised. I want to set it as low as possible. I want to set that bar so low. I want to set that bar so low you have no idea. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Are you surprised by all the momentum at all? I mean, you came on to this race, and you have just taken, you know, the world by storm. Were you surprised? Did you have any idea that the polling data would look as good as this early on?
Well, I really didn't know, but I will say the crowds, and you know this because you've reported on it, I've seen you report, the crowds I get are the biggest, bigger than anybody, including Bernie. I mean, we had in Arizona, we had 15,000 people, and they were there to stop illegal immigration. They want to learn about how do they stop this illegal immigration, because in Arizona, where, by the way, a big poll just came out, and I was at 33 or 34%, and next was like less than half of that. So, you know, a lot of things are happening. I am not totally surprised to see the numbers, because when I speak, I see the crowds and I see the enthusiasm.
Beada's still with us, and Beada, I'd like to ask you, what do you think the biggest thing is, or the biggest issue is, that you would like to hear Donald Trump address on stage tomorrow night?
What's the biggest issue you'd like Donald Trump to address tomorrow?
The biggest issue.
What's most important to you? What do you want to hear from Donald Trump tomorrow night in the debate?
What do you say?
What do you want to hear tomorrow night from Trump?
What's the biggest issue that you want to hear from Donald Trump? What do you want him to talk about?
Well, I don't know.
What's the most important to you?
Jobs. Jobs and our comedy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jobs and the economy.
So many homes, they need to get back in their own homes where the taxes is not so high and everything. This country just needs the American people in good shape again.
Right.
They've lived in a tough time for the last 20, 30 years.
Right.
And it's time America to be back the way
it's time for America to be back on top. I mean, this is the whole central thesis of your campaign, Donald Trump.
Well, Beada nailed it, and jobs in the economy, and that's what we have to do. And every poll says that I'm much better, by a factor of 4 or 5 times in some cases, than the other candidates at that, in particular at that. But jobs in the economy, and I would say security, too. We need, you know, our military has to be strengthened, and we have to really take care of our military and our vets. We have to take care of our vets. They're treated terribly. But you're right, jobs and the economy. China has taken our jobs. Other countries have taken our jobs and our manufacturing, and we're going to bring them back to this country.
You also heard Beada mention taxes. Taxes, highest in the world, really, for corporations. We've got $2 trillion still sitting overseas that could be of use back here at home. What would you like to see in the way of taxes?
Well, that money should come back, and right now there's no incentive for them to do it. In fact, there's a disincentive because they have to pay a fortune out. So, you know, that can be taken care of very easily. But taxes we're the highest tax nation in the world, and taxes will come down, and growth will come back, and jobs will come back. And China will like us better, even though we're going to take a lot of what they have. We're going to take it back, but we'll get along. You know, the amazing thing is China is probably our #1 abuser right now, and yet they don't even like us. So they won't do quite as well with me, but you know what? I will tell you, we will do very well, and they'll respect us more. We'll do better with them.
There's a lot of optimism, too, I think, in what you're saying, which seems to be resonating out there. As you get to this stage, are you concerned that anybody might try and take some shots? I mean, Rand Paul, for example, I'm from New Hampshire. I know the state well. He had been doing pretty well there. All of a sudden, you come on the scene, and you've stolen some of that thunder. Do you think Rand Paul and others might be gunning for you to a certain extent up there on stage?
You never know, Trish. I mean, it could be. I like Rand Paul. He's always been very nice to me, frankly, and I've actually helped him with his, eye operations that he'd go around, and I think he does a good job with that. But I've always liked him, and I've always gotten along with him. But it could be, they're under a lot of pressure also, and maybe one of the ways they do it is by attacking me. A lot of people say that wouldn't be wise, but probably some would think it would. You just don't know what's going to happen, and maybe that's what makes it good television. But you just don't know. I would say this: if Beada could be up on the stage instead of me, I would be very happy to let her do that.
Beada, it's wonderful to have you here. And before I let Donald Trump go, let me just ask you: is there anyone in particular that you're concerned about, that you're worried about, or that you consider really your most formidable opponent there on stage?
I don't think so. I think they're all very smart. As I told you, I respect many of them. Many of them, I've been a contributor to their campaigns over the years. I mean, I've contributed a lot of money to a lot of the people that I'm up on stage with. And they probably, I can say without question, they treat me much better when I was in that position than the position I'm in right now.
Oh, I'm sure. But that's one of their criticisms of you,
yeah,
of course. They criticize that you've given to Democrats as well, and you might get some of this tomorrow night.
Well, no, that's okay. And I do. I give to and I'm a businessman, and when I go and when I need something, even if it's 2 or 3 years later, they're always there for me. And that's part of the problem that we have with this country and this system.
Do you not need anyone else's money at all? Can you do this 100% on your own?
No, the beauty is I don't need any money. I mean, I need nobody's money, so that's part of the beauty. And a lot of people, it's very interesting, Trish, that resonates with a lot of people because, you saw I had a little fun this weekend and I tweeted about the Koch brothers, who are friends of mine. I mean, I think they're terrific guys. But, all the guys are going in there hat in hand, a lot of them, 5 or 6 of them, and, they're going out to California to be with them. And, I sort of did a couple of tweets that were cute. But,
see, I think this actually makes you more popular with a lot of people. The Koch brothers, they have a certain negativity, for better or for worse, around them, and people sort of consider them the establishment. The fact that you're not getting the invitation, it makes you the outsider. Is that part of the appeal?
Well, they're friends of mine, and they're members of my clubs, and in Palm Beach, they're members of my clubs, and, the whole thing, and it's fine, and I think it's good, and I understand that. I'm not I was super establishment 3 months ago, but I was establishment on the other side. Now I'm not establishment, because as a runner, you're not establishment, but I think we'll do just fine, and certainly the polls now, I mean, we're doubling people up. We're doubling up the 2 front runners, other than myself, and we're having it's a great experience, and again, we want to make, and this is for Beada and millions of people just like Beada. I call it the silent majority now. I'll bring back that term, but it's a silent majority, and just for Beada and millions of people like Beada, we're going to make this country great again. We're going to do something special. All
right. Well, we wish you well. We're looking forward to watching you tomorrow night. Beada, any last words to Mr. Trump before we go?
Any last words? Any last words?
Oh, is it? Thank you, Donald Trump. I appreciate you very much. And one thing more I want to say about this war over in Iran and ISIS, I don't think the Washington, D.C. over here just don't know what they're doing because they can't make up their mind. And I think you'll straighten it out. That's my prayers for you.
Well, I give you my word, Beada. We'll do a great job, and we'll be out there trying. At a minimum, we're going to be out trying 110%. And I really appreciate it. This was such a beautiful story I heard about you. That's why I called Trish. And it's actually a very big story, Trish. It's all over the place, I will tell you.
It absolutely is.
So
well, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here, Donald Trump. We appreciate you being here, Beada Corum. Great show. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.